Pandey Bhaiya, can I be given co-host Bhaiya rights? Thank you, Bhaiya.
Done.
Good morning. Greetings to all. I am Dr. Amipara. Warmly welcome all of you, dignitaries, panelists, moderator, UHV presenter, and all other delegates to the 9th International Conference on Universal Human Value in Higher Education 2024. Since 2 days, we are discussing on a human value. We have discussed on a need, discussed on a vision, and today we are going to discuss implementation part. And it's my privilege to introduce Dr. A. Geeta, today's presenter for the UHV point of view. Now, Dr. Geeta she is an assistant professor, Department of Computer Science, Government Arts and Science College, Avinashi, Tamil Nadu. She has done PhD, MPhil, MSc in Computer Science and volunteering Universal Human Value since 4 years. With this brief description or introduction, I once again warmly welcome Dr. Geeta. Over to you, Dr. Geeta. Thank you.
Yes, good morning to all. Warm greetings to all the panelists, delegates. Happy to welcome you all for the third day of this international conference. Now, let me give a brief idea about the implementation of holistic value-based education. So before that, let me give a quick recap. So as Dr. Amipara was telling, for the past 2 days, we have been discussing about the needs and vision of holistic value-based education. So on day 1, we were able to see the need of value-based education. And in that, we were able to discuss the priority of values over skills in education, ensuring right understanding in every child, the capacity to live in relationship with the other human being, and also the capacity to identify the need of physical facility so that everybody is having the feeling of prosperity. Is it not? Also, we just looked into the basic guidelines of value education. The guidelines must be universal, rational, verifiable, and leading to harmony. And on day 2, we discussed about the vision for holistic value-based education. At individual level, we were able to see that one has to transform from inhuman consciousness to human consciousness. At societal level, there is a need for transformation to humane society. Also, as an outcome of this vision of holistic value-based education, we saw the common graduate attributes. Now, on day 3, let us look into the implementation of holistic value-based education. What is the program of action for this implementation? At the individual level, to understand harmony and to live in harmony. At any point of time, one is living at all 4 dimensions. The dimension of an individual, family, society, nature, and existence. So, there is a need to understand harmony and live in harmony at all these 4 levels. And what is the program of action required at the individual level? Here in Universal Human Values, all the contents are put forth before as proposals. So one has to explore within themselves which is referred as self-exploration. The process is self-exploration, where everybody has to verify the proposals on their own right. What I really want to be. One has to discover their natural acceptance, their intention. Once they're able to discover their natural acceptance, one can ensure right understanding, right feeling. When this is ensured within oneself, the expression is harmonious behavior and work, and participation in larger order. Next is self-awareness. When they are able to explore within themselves, they can be aware of their desire, thought, and expectation. That is imagination at every moment. And also, with this awareness, they have to self-evaluate themselves. How much of their imagination is in line with natural acceptance, which will help the individual to transform from inhuman consciousness to humane consciousness. Now, let us discuss the program of action at the societal level. The first program is People's Education Program, which is offered to adults. The adult may be a parent, teacher, policymaker, administrator, bureaucrat, or anybody. So, which can be offered to all the adults as an informal education or through informal education. The next program of action is for children, which can be offered as Education Sanskar program, which can be offered in the formal education as a course in the academic curriculum. It can be implemented as socially relevant projects through their syllabi. And also, we can create a conducive environment so that all the children are ensured with definite human contact, and they have the competence to live harmoniously in the society, and they can participate in the universal human order. And the third program is Humane Society Program. In a Humane Society program, one can see that every individual is ensured with right understanding and right feeling, so that happiness is ensured in every individual. Also, health is also ensured in every individual. When happiness and health is ensured in every individual, we can see the outcome of it is prosperity is ensured in every family, is it not? When prosperity is ensured in every family, we can see the natural outcome of it is fearlessness in the society, is it not? So that trust and justice is ensured in the society. When there is trust, justice in society, we can see it is reflected as coexistence, that is mutual enrichment in nature and existence. So this is the expected outcome of the program, Humane Society program. Now, let us look into the time span. When this program is offered as a people's education program for adults, suppose if you are able to educate one adult for 10 years, let us assume, to ensure right understanding and right feeling, in the next 10 years, we can educate 10 adults. So when we extrapolate for 100 years, we can roughly educate 1,000 crore people. Similarly, when this Education Sanskar program is offered to children, right, as a formal education, right from there, when they enter school, one can see that this target can be achieved within a span of 50 to 75 years. Hope you will agree with this. When this is launched as a Humane Society program, where this holistic value-based education is launched across all human beings, across the length and breadth of the world, to all people, one can see that this humane society can be achieved within a span of 25 to 50 years. Now, let us look into the steps of transformation. Step 1. We have to include UHV in the present curriculum as a value education in the domains, namely education, research, and extension. And the second step can be integrating human values across all subjects without any barriers, without any discriminations. Let us integrate this subject as a value-based education among all disciplines. And step 3 is value-based living, where all the individual is capable of living in harmony at all 4 levels. Now, at present, we are currently in step 1. Now, let us see the steps taken by AICTE and UGC to promote this value-based education. The prominent programs launched by AICTE include Student Induction Program, Faculty Induction Program, Universal Human Values, a full semester course with 2 credits, a minor degree in UHV. Also, Faculty Development Program, Management Development Program, and Leadership Development Program is offered by AICTE. In addition, AICTE has nominating institutions as nodal centers of UHV across the country. Along with AICTE, UGC, that is University Grants Commission, has also included UHV at various labels, namely Faculty Induction Program as Guru Dakshata, Student Induction Program as Diksharam, and course on Human Values and Professional Ethics as Mulya Prava in higher educational institutions. Curriculum for Life Skills as Jeevan Kaushal. All these has been launched by UGC, which is successfully running across the academic years. The training centers have been requested to conduct training programs for faculty on universal human values. Along with this, the content of value education is now being translated into 9 official Indian languages. Now, at the bottom, you can see the documents on the front page of all these books. Apart from these, all the learning resources are available as physical books as well as e-resources. You can see all these books, e-resources that are available in the AICTE portal as well as at various points. Now, let us see how UHV is implemented successfully. UHV is implemented successfully in Madhya Pradesh at school education for classes 9 to 12. All the textbooks, teacher manuals, workbooks have been developed and published. More than 385 schools have been identified, and they are successfully implementing this UHV as a part of their curriculum. Apart from this, workshops are being conducted for teaching faculties and all other non-teaching faculties at various levels in schools. You could see few pictures that has been shared. Also, we can see as an extension of this UHV activities, it has been successfully launched in jails. Workshops being conducted in jails of Kanpur and Ghaziabad. And the results are very encouraging and promising in terms of transformation among the jailmates. So let me give a sum up of the implementation of holistic value-based education. So the program of action at individual levels are self-exploration, self-awareness, and self-evaluation. The program of action at societal level are People's Education Program for Adults, Education Sanskar Program for Children, and Humane Society Program. And what are the steps to provide humane education? It is offered at 3 levels. Value education, which is introducing human values in the existing curriculum. Value-based education, where we are going to update all courses to be value-based, harmoniously interconnected with each disciplines. And the third step is value-based living, where all the individuals are going to practice. They are going to be in living in harmony at all levels. Thereby, the individuals set themselves as role model and the institution becomes as a living model. And also we had seen what are the multiple steps taken by AICTE and UGC to promote value education. Also, we saw how UHV is successfully implemented in Madhya Pradesh schools and how it is carried out as an extension activity in jails. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Now, let me invite Dr. Sunil Kumar, who has done BTech, MTech, PhD in civil engineering. He is currently working as professor and HOD, Division of Civil Engineering at Cochin University College of Engineering, Kerala. He has been associated with UHV from June 2020. Now, let me invite Dr. Sunil Kumar to take over the moderation of this panel discussion on implementation. Over to you, Dr. Sunil Kumar. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you, Dr. Geeta, for this nice presentation and inviting me for this panel discussion as moderator. So, as Dr. Geeta proposed, we have discussed about the need and the vision part of holistic value-based education in the previous 2 days. And today we are going to discuss about the implementation part, how this is to be implemented in the curriculum and how this is to be implemented in various institutions, in what context, in what by what methods can be used for that. This will be discussed in detail. So Dr. Geeta has given some proposals, and on that basis we can go ahead with the discussions. But before that, let me invite the panelists for today's discussion. Dr. Geeta, can we go to the next slide? Dr. Geeta, can we go to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. So I welcome our first panelist, Dr. Mohammad Sabur Khan, who is chairman of Daffodil International University, DIU, president of the Association of Universities of Asia and the Pacific, chairman of the Global Entrepreneurship Network, GEN, Bangladesh chapter, treasurer 2027-2030 of International Association of University Presidents, ambassador of World Union of Small and Medium Enterprise, Bangladesh, standing committee member of the Asian University Presidents Forum, chairman of Association of Private Universities of Bangladesh, director of World Information Technology and Services Alliance, chairman of Global Trade Committee of WITSA. So we have an eminent panelist here who has multifaceted professionalism. So welcome, Dr. Mohammad Sabur Khan, to this panel discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil Kumar, and thank you, Dr. Geeta, for giving the presentation on the human values.
Yeah,
This is
I will get back to you once we start the discussion. I will introduce all the panelists and then get back to you. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. We have Dr. Virendra Goswami as the next panelist, who is a visiting scientist of NASA, WMO, NCAR, ICAO, UNIDO. Can we go back, Geeta? Dr. Geeta? Yeah, thank you. So, Dr. Virendra Goswami is a visiting scientist of NASA, WMO, NCAR, ICAO, UNIDO, ICTP, Italy. He is a PhD in IIT Kharagpur, MS from University of Wisconsin, postdoctorate fellow, University of Illinois, Chicago, USA. He is a founder president of Environment and Peace Foundation, former vice chancellor and Sangam and Sunrise Universities, wing commander, retired, worked at NASA, a lot of awards and special invitee. He is a special invitee by the WMO UN. So a lot of credentials to Dr. Virendra Goswami. So with this, I welcome Dr. Virendra Goswami to this panel discussion. We go ahead. Dr. Geeta, can we go to the next slide now? Dr. Geeta, can we move ahead?
Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to be the opening batsman now?
No, I will get back to you with the questions. Can you adjust your video so that we can see your full face?
Okay. So it's Dr. Vikas Chaudhary introducing him, I think.
No. I introduced you, Virendra Goswami, Dr. Virendra Goswami just now. So you can just adjust your video slightly. I'm just asking Dr. Virendra Goswami to adjust the video. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. With your permission, just can I share my PowerPoint presentation in which I have summarized my thoughts?
No, what we propose here is I will put forward some questions to you and you can respond to that once I introduce all the panelists. That's what I request to all the panelists, because we can give a fair chance to all the panelists to share their views.
So may I do it, please?
Maybe not now, so I will get back to you after I introduce all the panelists.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you. So
well, thank you.
yeah,
Thank you very much. So I think Dr. Vikas Chaudhary introduction is over, and as you are very kind to allow me for the PPT to share, so I share with the screen. That will be easier for me to explain my view. So
Dr. Goswami, I will also tell the rules of this panel discussion once I introduce all the panelists. So please bear
okay,
with
I
me
think
for a few
somebody.
moments. Yeah,
So
thank you.
fine. Very well. I start like this.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank you. Dr.
yes.
Vikas Chaudhary, I think he could not join so
Okay,
far.
no problem. Whenever you
He's
allow
there.
me,
He's there.
I will do it. And
Yeah.
I think how much time I have been given? 10 minutes, 15 minutes?
Not really. In fact, we have nearly 8 to 10 panelists over here. So each panelist may get 3 minutes for their presentation, not for PPT presentation, but for their sharing regarding the question. So we go ahead and yeah.
Okay, without wasting time, Dr. Sukumar, I start.
Thank
We
you.
can listen now. Ladies and gentlemen.
I think it would have been better first to introduce all the panelists.
Yeah,
and
I'll
then
come back to Dr. Virendra Goswami.
and then start the panel discussion.
Yeah, thank you. So I introduce Dr. Vikas Chaudhary now. I welcome Vikas Chaudhary to this panel discussion. He's a professor and head Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, National Institute of Technology, that is NIT, Kurukshetra, India. His interest areas are financial management and corporate finance, marketing management, banking and mutual funds, corporate governance, CSR, business ethics, and human values, teaching of Bhagavad Gita. Welcome, Dr. Vikas Chaudhary, to this panel discussion.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you. Can we check whether Dr. Srividya Sukumar has joined the meeting? I'm not sure. Still, I just will introduce Dr. Srividya Sukumar. Whenever she joins, we can add her. She's a director of corporate affairs advisory, Misari Technology, FSC, Dubai Silicon Oasis, UAE. She's an educationist, entrepreneur, governance advisor, quality assurance and compliance expert, strategic transformations, R&D consultant, life and business coach, author, columnist, global chair, GSFN, ESG advocate, and global ambassador UN. So whenever she's available, let us welcome her to this panel discussion. We can move on, Dr. Gita. Yeah, thank you. Dr. Swami Atma Priyananda ji, he is also not available in the panel right now, but let us welcome him. He is a Vice Chancellor of Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda University, India. He is a PhD in Theoretical Physics, University of Madras. He has a vast teaching experience, and he is a Vice Principal as well as Principal of the institutions. Yeah, welcome Swami Atma Priyananda whenever he is available. I welcome Dr. Ritu Gill to this panel discussion. She is a Director, Center for Biotechnology, Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak, India. She is a PhD, DRDE, Gwalior. She's a postdoctoral fellow of ICG-EB, New Delhi. Welcome, Dr. Ritu Gill, to this meeting, this panel discussion.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sunil.
Thank you. Can we move on, Dr. Gita? So we have Mr. Umesh Jadhav. He is a former faculty in Gaidu College of Business Studies, Bhutan. He is a Master in Tourism Administration. And he's a volunteer of University of Human Values for more than 10 years, conducting FTPs. He is a member of NCCIP, Regional Coordinator of UHV Western Region. Welcome, Mr. Umesh Jadhav, to this panel discussion.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste. And we also have Mr. Sunil Kumar Gulati. He's an IAS officer, Special Chief Secretary, retired in the Government of Haryana, India. He is IIT Kanpur alumnus. He is an IAS officer of 1984 batch. He has contributed to the development of the Haryana Animal Husbandry Department worldwide vaccination campaign for animals. So welcome Mr. Sunil Kumar Gulati to this panel discussion. Yeah, so We will go ahead with the panel discussion right now. Dr. Gita, you can close this slide presentation right now. So as it is proposed by Dr. Gita in her presentation, the implementation part is also very essential as we see the need of value education and the vision for value education. So in the implementation part, what are the steps which are being taken by the various universities, various institutions, and what are the hurdles which we are facing, and what are the efforts which are being made by the apex bodies of education in the country, India, that is All India Council for Technical Education and the University Grants Commission. So this has already been shared in the presentation by Dr. Gita. And the efforts which are being taken by the UHV team and other institutions are also being depicted in very short, with the help of very few slides in the presentation. Now, with regard to this, let us start the discussion. Let me start this discussion with Dr. Mohammad Sabur Khan. So I would like to ask you this question, Dr. Mohammad Sabur Khan. How do you see the role of faculty and management for effective implementation of value-based education?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sunil Kumar, and thank you again, Dr. Gita. No doubt the education sector need to be accurate for look after the human values, especially for the student. And of course, already Gita is already mentioned in her presentation that faculty and parents, both of them need to play the key role. So as higher education, of course, the faculty is the key factor for transforming the human values among the student. So usually what happens, student, whenever they're coming to the university, always they like to learn from the teacher. And it is the time also, I think, from the university management to find out what is the best practices is doing by the faculty. Because in our university, we are trying our best to find out the best faculty who have the right for giving the lesson to the human values, and especially we call this art of living. Because we introduce a 3-credit course, which is almost mandatory to our university. It's called the art of living. So the art of living has all of the components, as Dr. Gita is mentioned. We are trying to bring all of the component with this 3-credit course, but we know that it is very tough to bring all of this within this 3-credit. But again, one of the key component I should share with all of you, all of the faculty member, we make them mandatory. They must conduct a session with the parents only one day. Only one day they should conduct a session with the parents, where the parents and students both should be present. And another one, we also organize in every year, in every semester, it's called the Parents' Day. So whole day, the faculty, students, and parents, there is 3 stakeholders spend the whole day and they interact each other. But the parents is also express their intention, how they like to see their kids. At the same time, kids also express that what limitation they find before completing this art of living course. Sometimes they are crying, emotional, because they try to understand, as I am sure that Dr. Gita is very nicely mentioned, that these human values first need to be focused on individual and definitely family and definitely society, and of course, nature and existence. I think she already very focused on this point. So by this, faculty, parents, and student, what exactly we try to give the lesson? The family values is important because we all believe that without parents, without family, I think we cannot make our life successful. And at the same time, if we are not make happy to our family, it will be impossible to make happy to the society. Because I always love to say that a leader who already tried to change the country, he or she cannot change his family. How can he or she will change the country? That's completely wrong. So that is why we are trying to give the lesson to our faculty and the student. And personally, I should tell that we took a lot of initiative. And if I'm not wrong, we are one of the university in our country that who took this initiative almost before 12 years back. and very successfully we implemented. And I just share with you two examples and then I will conclude. Whenever we see any of our students inside the campus or any public places, we can realize that he or she can complete the art of living or not. Because of her attitude, her approach, and other things, we can very easily identify that they completed the course or not. This is one example. And then another example I should tell you, because the faculty also need to educate our students, because Dr. Gita is also mentioned the primary to higher education level. So I don't like to go that example. I just giving you one example. I hope you will love it. In 1992, because my background is also IT computer.
Dr. Sabu, Dr. Mohammed Sabu Khan, we have a limitation of time also.
Yeah.
So in every round, we get 3 minutes. I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry, in the beginning.
It's okay. It's okay. I think this my main point is already covered up. So I think
reserve it for the next round. I mean, this example which you're going to.
So anyway, I can find
you.
the discussion. Thank you very much.
Very valuable, and we take it forward. And let us listen from other panelists also, and we will come back to you. Thank you. Very nice. Yeah, so I forgot to mention this general rule for this panel discussion, that every panelist will get 3 minutes maximum in the first round. But the total time of this panel discussion is only 90 minutes, 1.5 hours. So within that, we can listen from all the panelists, and we can also listen from the delegates, their questions. And there may be some questions in the chat box, from the YouTube viewers also. So we can address some of them within the time limit. So I request to limit the panel discussion to now another, say, 40 minutes or so. So let us give a fair chance to every panelist. Thank you so much for the cooperation. With this request, I go to the next panelist, Dr. Virendra Goswami. Welcome. I put forward the same question to you. How do you see the role of this faculty and management for effective implementation of value-based education? Over to you. You are muted. You can unmute and speak, please, Dr. Virendra Goswami. Still, you are muted. The voice is not reaching us. Yeah, nice.
No, sir.
Yeah.
So, okay, would you mind to repeat your question?
Sure. So the question is, how do you see the role of faculty and management for effective implementation of holistic value-based education?
Okay, the first and foremost thing we have to understand that the imparting of education is a three-tier system. Once is the first and foremost student cooperation. If the student is not ready to learn, has no will to learn, there is no instrumental investigation which can make him to learn. The other cooperation comes the parents' cooperation. His parents must cooperate in the learning. And the third, very important, last but least, is your teacher's cooperation. So this is the three-tier system has to be followed when you are imparting the education. Now, when you are imparting the education, the student category, they should be not be equipped only with the syllabi of that particular degree course. They should be equipped with the value education. They should be equipped with the work culture. You have to inculcate the work culture. You have to, and that work culture comes with the values which you inculcate into the student. And to do that, first and foremost, you have to inculcate those values into the professors. So there are different values for the professors. There are different values when I'm talking ethical values. I'm talking. Similarly, there's a different values in the parents. So you have to inculcate these things in these things. And third, when you have done, then you have to devise the models how to impart the education. The models which were being used in the past are totally different. I don't say they are not applicable at all, but the modern era has changed. So we have to develop, we have to modify the value education, means imparting, empowering the universities or the higher education learning institute with the modern era models of governance of education. Unfortunately, people only teach, but no professor, no vice chancellor, no director, no principal of any institute is taught how to do the governance of that higher education. So no doubt, the faculty development programs are very helpful along with the student development program. So again, the three-tier system come. You have to develop the students, you have to develop the faculty, and you have to develop the organization. Until the whole culture, the work culture, the environment is not developed, you cannot impart the education. Now, in the small, I will give the Guru Mantra, how to develop a valued education personnel, whether he is a student, whether he is a professor. He should get rid of these three negatives A, that is anxiety, and anger. What he should adopt? Award and what you call effectiveness, positive attitude. I mean the attitude. So these three things you adopt, three A you remove. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you have to know what are the higher education institute. What are the difference between research institute? There is totally research is different and then the education is different. Learning is different. And research innovation is different. You cannot have any education or any.
I will come back to you in the next round. So your point is well taken. The three things which you mentioned very.
With the three I's,
yeah.
The innovation, that is your improvement. Then you have to improve the models or improve the systems. Then innovate, from innovare, Latin word, and then the last comes a invention. Next, I have developed the equation mathematical on this. We'll discuss when the chair allows me.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. So the cooperation from the students, the faculty and the parents, and of course the organization, these four things you mentioned very rightly, and that is well taken. Thank you so much. We move on to the next panelist now. So I welcome Dr. Vikas Chowdhury for the first time in this panel discussion. Dr. Vikas Chowdhury, I put forward the same question to you, just to get your reflection upon this, that how do you see the role of faculty and management in effective implementation of the value-based education? Over to you. You're muted.
Yes, now, right. So thank you, Dr. Sunil Kumar, for giving me this opportunity in this panel discussion in this international conference of human values and value education. When we talk about the new education policy, this gives us an opportunity to move from outcome-based education to the value-based education. And the role of faculty becomes very important in terms of imparting and ensuring that students get value education letter and spirit. See, we are talking about, if you see the important objectives of the NEP 2020, it talks about holistic personality development of the students. That means we have to ensure that students are developed in terms of every aspect. See, when we talk about this model of holistic development, it comes out to these 4 Qs we talk about: the social quotient, the physical quotient, the intelligent quotient, and there is one more into that, emotional quotient. And when you combine all these 4 quotient, it gives you a wonderful model of the holistic personality development. And if you see, a lot of institutions have started doing this work by opening up some centers of wellness, some centers of happiness, happitude kind of the things, holistic personality development, like we have opened in our institute itself. And if you see, the ministry have gone ahead with one of the flagship program, which talks about promoting positive mental health, resilience, and well-being in higher educations of India. Again, the important thing is how to make faculty aware about these things, that their role is of paramount importance in terms of imparting the value-based education, and that is the way how we can move forward. More such kind of the workshops or conferences has to take place, and see how more and more faculty need to be involved into the system, because somewhere they have to understand that they have to take the cognizance of this particular thing, that it is the first thing they have to do, and that is how they can proceed well. Then coming on to the second thing for a few seconds, on the management you talk about. See, management role is also important in terms of imparting value-based education in the institutions. But when you talk about the other kind of the things in terms of the role of the management, sometimes we see that in most of the private colleges, the teachers don't get the opportunity to go to the conferences or the workshop or the FDPs, and that is why they stay away from such kind of the things, because a lot of expenditure is involved into that. So, this is how management can play an important role. Institutions like ours, or maybe good is to join such kind of the programs. And when more and more companies, more and more people will join this kind of the program, only then their role can be determined in terms of imparting the valuable education and taking this particular movement ahead and make it a good movement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chaudhary, for this sharing. You emphasized upon this
And it's a very good opportunity for me, and I can see all the panelists are very experienced, and I'm not so much experienced in this area. Still, I would like to keep my views. If I talk about the management, that is having very important role, very critical role in implementation of moral educations, or we can say values in faculty, in students, and that is very important, because here the management should able to differentiate what is right and what is wrong. Like rights should be preferred and the wrongs, they should be discouraged. That is very important. Then only the system will go. And it's once if we see in an institution, it's administration or management is there, and then the faculty is there, and at the end they are the students, and non-teaching staff, or we can say sporting staff, is also there. So it's important. It's important to organize workshops for everyone, and it's not like for students just only incorporating these courses in the curriculum will not going to help anyone. uh, we have to inculcate in students the self responsibility, and they have to think of what is right and what is wrong. They should be able to say by themselves, this is right and this is wrong. So that truthfulness should be there in the students, and that will come from the higher perspective. Like it's, if I talk about the management, that is important. From there, if we'll start distinguish between what's the rights and what's the wrong, and preferring those and giving the opportunities to those which are trying to do the things in a better way, that will be the more rational. And another thing what I want to point out, it's not like we have to produce, like we are producing engineers, we are producing doctors, and we are producing scientists. It's important to inculcate in them the good moral values and the responsibility of the of everyone to the society, to the environment, to the elders ones, to the younger ones. That is very important. Like if we can talk about if we are using the washrooms, and the conditions, the washrooms they are given to you, and you cannot leave up higher education institutions, you are not finding the washrooms left by after use, left in the same condition in which it was given to them. That is very important. We should teach them, and that will come not from the incorporation in the curriculum. That will come actually involvement of the students through organizing theaters and through organizing we can say just connecting to the society, organizing some of the nukkad nataks, or we can say this, just working at the ground level. That is very important. That is my perspective.
Yeah.
Over to you, Sunil.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ritu Gill. Your exemplified version is well taken, and we will move forward. So you emphasize upon this organizing workshops for everyone, not just the students, but everyone in the institution, and maybe for the parents also, and for all the stakeholders. This point is taken. Yeah. So I now move on to one other person who is in the administration, Mr. Sunil Kumar Gulati, who is an IAS officer. So we can listen from Dr. Sunil Kumar Gulati also regarding his take on this, the role of management and teachers in ensuring this effective value-based education. Over to you, Dr. Sunil Kumar Gulati.
Thank you so much. You see, where the society is heading, you can see from the number of applicants for every post. So if there's a post of for civil service, for example, 12 lakh people apply, and finally only 1,000 are selected. Even for the post of a class 4 also, or a clerk, we find that 3 lakh, 4 lakh people are applying. So this gives an idea that who are the influencers in the society. And the influencers I feel in the society, apart from the film stars and sports persons, the bureaucracy, those in the judiciary and those in government service, unfortunately, they have become strong influences in the society. Now, if they are the influences of the society, then we should work very hard on instilling the human values in this particular group, because this is the group which others are watching and trying to follow. So this one point which I very strongly feel, that there are institutes where these civil servants are trained at all level, even the class 4, class 3, class 2, all level, each department, like agriculture department has an institute for agriculture department officers and staff. So these are the institutes which I think we should target, because AICTE should now start thinking bigger. And wherever these institutes are, we should firstly involve their faculty into this value education thing, so that whoever crosses their path, they can put some drops of this values education into them. Then I think we can make a difference. And it should be training and retraining and retraining and retraining. Because to a common man who is on the cutting edge, the policeman is the government. The person who gave his passport is the government. So see, from the common man or the RTO office who gave his driving license is the government. So that is his interaction with the world. So those who are handling this public dealing, that level should be first trained and got into this, at least this mindset of being ethical. Coming to your AICT colleges and management colleges, now wherever you have, when you do a PTA, wherever you know that the parents are in this kind of professions, you can hold a separate session with them and just motivate them that because your children, we want them to understand values. Whatever we tell them in the institute should not get whitewashed. So that I have seen families, the children of policemen, they are well off, but they don't really perform in life. And they is everything. So if we are counseling the parents of people, children, parents are in the government service, that will be a very, very, it'll take the country very, very far. And since your approach would be, as faculty, you would say कि हम आपके बच्चे को सिखा रहे हैं. We are teaching your child, and he is not able to understand the values because at home something contrary is happening. So that's where we can just use that entry and push into the house and request parents also to get into your.
That's very, very well taken, Mr. Sunil Kumar Gulati, that everyone, parents are also to be educated and they're not just the children alone, and all the stakeholders. And you said the reiteration part, it is not just to be confined to one or a few FDPs or SDPs, but we can help them to pursue these values through explorative kind of learning. We can have refresher programs like that, like what you said. Very nice. So who are the influencers in society? So the value education can be offered to them also. Very nice. Thank you so much for the sharing.
Servants, judiciary, all government officers.
Everyone, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you. Nice, nice. Very good. So we move on to the next panelist. I welcome Dr. Srividya Sukumar for the first time to this panel discussion. I welcomed you in the beginning itself. So I once again mentioned that she is a director of Corporate Affairs Advisory, Misari Technology FSC, Dubai Silicon Oasis UAE. So welcome Dr. Srividya to this panel discussion. I put forward this question to you that apart from
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible, very clear. But the video is there is a little bit of a light problem is that that's what I think, but your face is very clear. Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I put forward this question to you that share your views on the effective implementation of holistic value-based education. In addition to the role of the faculty and management, what is your views on this effective implementation of holistic value-based education and the role of faculty and management? Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's a wonderful opportunity amidst all eminent personalities from across the globe. And it's my privilege and honor to be a part of this session. So basically, an educationist and entrepreneur who has been in the field of education for 2 decades now. With my minimum years of experience, what I feel is that the future of the civilization to a greater extent is being written in the walls of the classroom, as said by Dr. Milton Smith, has been a pre-word, and it's no more applicable now. It's not applicable now as such, because the future of the civilization to a greater extent is not written in the walls of the classroom as such, and because that has been before, and now it has changed that it is not written alone. It's not confined to the 4 walls of the classroom. So to create the paramount, it's so important that to create the ideal ambience that shapes the mind of the younger generations to come as inheritors of our earth. So it's the duty of our we, the educators who have taken this mantle. So the hallmark of the successful education is the cultivation of the mind, which is both free and agile and adaptable, grounded for open-minded learning, guided by moral values that is applicable to the real world. If this is going to be the mandate that we give it forward to the younger generation, this kind of education will produce new generation of students who are self-reliant, self-disciplined, honest, courageous, unwavering in their commitment to the righteousness despite any obstacles that may come their way. So what I really emphasize upon is the self-responsibility that the learners will take in the process of education. That is, we think about education which is confined to the 4 walls of the classroom or the school premises or the education premises, the college premises. It is never so. Each and every single learning experience of life should be inculcated or integrated as a learning experience such that the learners take their own responsibility of their own learning process and they relate it to the reality world, the real world, and they move forward. Such individuals are equipped to tackle any challenges which come across their way, as Doctor was mentioning about emotion quotient, intelligence quotient, there is a social quotient. There is also one more quotient that has to be added, and that is the adversity quotient, which inculcates, which imbibes from the act or the habit of resilience in the students to embrace new opportunities with a sense of duty, such that they see every challenge as an opportunity and emerge as innovative leaders committed to effective for this transformation change that we are talking about. Ultimately, they become more dependable citizens of the world. So my thing is, such an education will impart a timeless message of right attitude in the right direction, in the right hands.
Nice. Thank you so much. So
I've got more to share. I'll do it later. Thank you.
So education is not to be confined to the 4 walls of the of the institution, it has to go out. That is the point which you are trying to put forward.
Yes.
That the point is well taken. So adaptable learning, you have said several things. The new generation students will be much more committed when we offer education this way. So very nice. I will come back to you again. Thank you. Now I move on to Sri Umesh Jadhav. So you have been into this value education for quite a long time. So what is your take on this? I mean, did you also see some hurdles, some difficulties in implementing this value-based education? What is the effective way of implementing the value-based education? And if there are some hurdles which you face, how do you overcome these kind of hurdles?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to be the last panelist in the row, because whatever everyone has said, the job becomes very easy that I second. I agree to the opinions of everyone who has shared. Value education, the responsibility of the institutions and the faculty members. It's basically shift from the job education to the value education, which includes job. Correct? So let us say, what is valuable for me? The feeling of relationship or opposition? So the feeling of relationship is naturally valuable for me, because with the feeling of relationship, I'm comfortable within. But to understand this feeling of relationship, it takes a lot of time. So this is basically the management can create a conducive environment for the faculty by sending them regularly into the faculty development programs on universal human values, allowing them to attend the follow-up sessions of the universal human values, allowing them to do some sort of volunteering for the universal human values, so that the faculty will develop, because this is all about the transformation of human being from our current consciousness to the desirable consciousness. So I see there's a very effective role of the faculty members in imparting the value education, because if you have a book on the value education, but if you do not have teachers, then how this book is going to reach to the student, right? The curriculum is being spread to the student by the faculty only. So faculty need to develop, and management can create this conducive environment by adding the values, the universal values, in all the clubs of the institutions, and the policy and the vision of the institutions. That's what I would say. Now, one of the challenge, I would not say hurdle, but one of the challenges, the transformation process itself is very gradual. So the faculty members who are sharing the content of universal human values need to give this time for themselves, and also need to give the time for the student to explore the proposals, because I don't think there is any possibility that just by attending one or two courses or one or two classes, a person can start living with the values. How it can be overcome? Through strengthening the exploration within, and making some effective steps for the self-development. So this is basically my take on your board. Thank you.
Very nicely put forth. Thank you so much, Sri Umesh Jadhav, for this experience of offering value education to the students, to the teachers, to the other stakeholders in society. So your point is well taken. It is not just by attending the one or two kind of workshops, but it is continuing effort, like through follow-up meetings, as you rightly pointed out. And what is important, as you suggested, is the feeling of a relationship. So with this feeling of a relationship, if you offer the value education, then it is naturally following. That's what you are telling. Nice. We will move on to the next round of discussion. So I request all the panelists to confine your time to maybe to 2 minutes, because we have a time constraint over here. We have to listen to the questions from the delegates also. There are many comments already in the chat box. I can see that. So we move on to the next round of discussion with starting with Dr. Mohammad Sabur Khan. I put forth this question. So when this
Saburji has left a message in the chat box that he has some
he had to leave for some another urgency. He's
okay,
not
I noticed that. Okay, sorry for that.
No
we move on to we want Dr. Virendra Goswami then. Dr. Virendra Goswami.
Okay, yeah, you asked a very good question, so I had the answer, you see. If you
Yeah, hurdles in value education. Yeah, over to you.
if you ask me, it must be inculcated right from the kindergarten level, because that's the age when the most tender is the child gets used to some of the values right from the childhood. If you see the Gurukul, right, the Gurukul from the child, Sandeep and Sudama, they used to go to Gurukul right from the childhood. Even in the Vedic era and not even the modern era also, whatever values you give to your kids right at your home, those values continue. For an example, in one Ramayana, one Chapai is there. Prat kal utke raghunatha, mat pita guru namai matha. In the early morning, one gets up and he first salutes to the God, good morning or pranam to God. So these are the values which you get. Then second, the values are taught after getting early in the morning, you should go and see the sun. What is the scientific idea? You get the sun rays, which are good as vitamin D. Everything in the Vedas and the old thing, Gurukul, which was taught starting in the primary education. It's like that in the beginning you have not taught anything, and at the higher level you are telling a student to learn. That is not possible.
Yeah, thank you. So could you see some hurdles, see some difficulties in offering this value education? You said regarding the traditional part of value, so how it is imbibed naturally, and then how the values can be taught. When the values are taught in the classrooms, in the educational institutions, could you also see some hurdles or difficulties? And if there are some hurdles, what are the how can you overcome these hurdles? Just in 1 minute. Yeah. To Dr. Virendra Goswami.
I am associated with this value education mission right from 2013. Even when I was a vice chancellor, I introduced the course of zero credit course in the BTech and all the professional institutes the value education. And 2013 onward, Dr. Rajiv, 2014, there was a SARC conference in PTU organized by Rajneesh Arora and Magadia. So I attended that also, and there also we emphasized, we made this syllabi. And since then 2017, I attended IIT Kanpur, and as a matter of fact, 2019 I was awarded by governor of UP an award for ethical and value education introduction. And I'm thankful that the efforts of mainly Rajneesh Arora and this gentleman Bagoria came in true, and 2017, so 2019, it has been introduced in the AKTU university, and most of the university have introduced the value education. If that is the case, even the present education scheme, if you see, which has come government of India, that inculcates the values in primary education and the secondary education. And if this is done, and already we have done in AKTU and some other university, BHU, other thing. So if this is done, I went to this time, President awarded me for Distinguished Alumnus Award IIT Kharagpur, and there I emphasized that why don't you inculcate the value education? There cannot be any education without ethics. Cannot be any corporate development without ethics. Tatas are most ethical. Wipros are most ethical. These are companies. Infosys is most ethical. They are the highly profitable companies with no record. So how this value education? One ethics, I tell you, one professor, if you permit me. When I studied in the Wisconsin, I published a paper and wrote the name of my professor, as we do in our country, you see. Because if you, unfortunately, if you don't write professor name, the paper will not be published. This is, I wish it changes now. So, you know what my professor said? He said, there you called my first name. Dr. Virendra, I was already doctorate from IIT Kharagpur, and I was doing masters in space science and working in NASA. So he asked me, why are you writing my name? This is your research, this is your paper. You should not write my name. Now coming to the ethics of the students. There was examination, there are open book, all type of examinations are there, tests are there, 2 hours test. You know, at 2 hours, the student puts the pen down. He said, why should I write? My time is up. These values and culture ethics you have to inculcate, my dear friend. These are the values of education. So if it's done right from the childhood, even the primary level child has a habit of copying the examination, or secondary level has developed a copying the examination, how will you get rid of this bad habit in the university level? So it is the one learns right from the womb of mother, Abhimanyu. Then the first teacher is your mother. Then
Yes.
comes your teacher. So there is no question of not inculcating into primary and secondary level these values.
Nice, thank you. That point is very well taken. So we have to start this value education from the primary and secondary level, then starting from this higher education. But if it is not started, we can start from higher education at least. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we can get success, 7 years fighting and get into value education, you are the young people and we are with you to guide. Why can't we inculcate in the education, primary and secondary? Who stops us?
Yeah. So, okay. So we need teachers for that. Now I move on to the next panelist because of time limitation. Very interesting discussion. For sure, Dr. Virendra Goswami, I will come back to you if time permits. I move on to Dr. Vikas Chowdhury. Dr. Vikas Chowdhury, within 2 minutes, can you try to put forward your comments upon, now the discussion is upon this primary and secondary education. So do you see any hurdles in this value, offering this value education? And also, do you see the possibility of extending this value-based education to the primary and secondary levels? And how this can be implemented effectively in these levels? Dr. Vikas Chowdhury.
Yeah. First of all, wonderful, comments made by Dr. Virendra Goswami. It was a really pleasure to listen to you. See, the thing he has said, that we have to inculcate the values from the childhood itself. And that is the only way how we can take it forward to the primary and secondary education. And why not? We can always take a time to ensure that the right values are imparted at the right time. And right time is when the school, when the child goes to the school, and nothing else. If you see, if you after 20-25 years you start putting those values to the person at the university level, no doubt we can do that also. It can be done there also. But then the extension of the values will not go to that right level. So to ensure that the values are imparted to the student at the right place, it is the school, first of all, where a student goes from the boundary walls of his house. And you see, I have something like Dr. Goswami mentioned the Chopai from the Ramayana. There is one very good shloka in Vishnu Purana. Tatkaram yatra bandhaye sa vidya ya vimuktaye aya saya param karma vidyanya shilp napunam. What it says, this श्लोक says कि कर्म वही है जो बंधनों से मुक्त करे और विद्या वही है जो मुक्ति का मार्ग दिखाए. तो सही रूप में अगर हम वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन की बात करना चाहते हैं, तो वो वैल्यू बेस्ड एजुकेशन जो है हमें चाइल्डहुड से ही देना पड़ेगा. And there is no other, can say, a replacement for that particular thing. And one more thing I would like to add into this is that somewhere another says, education without values is like a flower without fragrance. तो उस शिक्षा का कोई इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं है if there are no values imparted in the education. Then another important thing is the purpose of education is not only to provide right to education, but also to impart right education. That is the thing which we have to, you can say, take forward, and that is the way how value-based education can be implemented. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Nicely put forth.
Yes.
Now, before I come back to Dr. Virendra, we have our Swami Atmapriyananda who joined just now. So I will go to.
I think you just allow Dr. Goswami to say something.
Dr. Vikas,
Swami, just 1 minute. 1 minute for you.
Shloka,
Yeah.
without, these values, without this knowledge, this shloka is like this: Isham na vidya, na tapo na dhyanam, na jnanam na shilam, na guru na dharma, te mrityu loke, bhuvi bhar bhuta, manush rupen mrigas charanti. It in one line that if you do not have valued education or values in you, you are just like a deer grazing in the field. You are not human.
Very right, sir.
Thank you.
A lot of good things to you. Thank you. Thank you. It was pleasure to listen to you, sir.
Very nice. I welcome wholeheartedly Most Reverend Swami Atmapriyanandaji to this to this panel discussion. Namaste and welcome. I hope he is listening. Yeah. Namaste. So I would like to ask you this question. We have been discussing regarding the implementation part of value education right now. As you are the Vice Chancellor of Ramakrishna Mission, Vivekananda University in the country India, what are the hurdles which you face in implementation of value-based education, and what are the ways out to come out of these hurdles, and how to effectively implement this value-based education from the primary to the higher education level? I can see you are muted right now, so you can unmute and speak. Yeah, still you are muted. You can unmute from your side and speak. Swamiji, you are still muted.
I guess you are not audible to him, Dr. Sunil.
Swamiji, Swami Atmapriyanandaji, am I audible to you? Can you hear me? Okay, so we will come back to Swamiji maybe later. There may be some technical issues with his connection. We'll come back. Let me move on to the next panelist, Dr. Ritu Gill. Yeah, so can we listen from you regarding the implementation of this holistic value-based education in the primary and secondary level? What are the steps to be taken for effective implementation?
Yes, thank you very much. It's very important to inculcate moral values and human values in the primary level, and just said by another panelist also. Learning process starts from the mother womb itself, and it's a gradual process. If we talk about the higher institutions, students are coming which they have a background in their moral values, and it's very difficult at that stage to modulate them and to polish them to have better moral values. So if we'll start at the primary level, that will be the very good one. So because it's a gradual and step-by-step process. So important here is we have to make trained minds with a good character. That is important. And that value of any institution, any organization, that depends on your students, what type of legacy they are having, what type of character they are having, in addition we are imparting them. That is important, and that process starts from the home itself and from the primary education itself. And but once the students are coming with us at the higher level, so it's important to make them realize the importance of different values in human, and we can tell them through different role models, like why Bhagat Singh and why Rabindranath Tagore, why Professor Dr. Abdul Kalam, why they are so much respected in the society, what the character they were having. And one character is they are the trained in their respective field, another is the human values. So that should be very much clear to the students. Your skills come later. First is important whether you are a good human being or not. That is important here. And it starts from the primary education. And I agree with all the panelists. It's a we have to make sure, and it's in our tradition itself, we have to inculcate the good moral values. And now the scenario has changed because we are living in the nuclear family. Earlier we were living in combined families, so that was coming automatically in our tradition. But now we can see overall degradation in these qualities, and we have to be very much focused to inculcate all these qualities in our future generations, so that we can make better citizens to the nation. We can give them.
Thank you. Nice, Professor Ritu Gill, for that sharing. So values has to start from the womb. That's what is said in the beginning. And then we need to start this from primary education. But at the same time, we have to be, we have to ensure sufficient teachers for this value education in the primary level. So training teachers is very important, as it is mentioned by many panelists. The training part is very important, and it is not just understanding values, but it is also important to live by the values. Unless the teacher is a living model of values, the teacher is not able to inculcate the values in the students. So this part also is to be taken care of. With this notion, I move on to Swamiji once again. Swami Atmapriyanandaji, are you able to listen to me? Is my voice reaching you? Yeah. Now you're unmuted.
Sir, good morning to all. Good morning. Actually, there's a mistake. Actually, I am Professor Vijay Kumar Sahu from SOA University. Yeah, there's a mistake in renaming. I've already told the persons. So can I speak?
Yeah, Dr. Vijay Kumar, you can speak. We can speak on this aspect that now we are discussing about this offering this value-based education in the higher education, primary level, secondary level. If it is to be offered in the primary and secondary level, what are the difficulties and how to overcome that? That is the point.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm a faculty of agriculture, and I was the dean of the institute, and for some period I was the vice chancellor of the university. And we have already started the universal human values in our institute. And at the very beginning, to the first year students, we are giving them one Dikharamba, that training for 2 weeks as per the NEP 2020. And in my personal opinion, this value-based education from the very beginning should be taught to the students, so that ultimately they can be very good human beings. That's my opinion.
Thank you so much for the sharing. It's very crisp, very valid point you said.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So,
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
We move on to our next panelist, who is an administrator, as I mentioned in the beginning. So, Dr. Sunil, Dr. Sunil Kumar Gulati. I asked this question to you, Mr. Sunil Kumar Gulati. Now we say this value education to value-based education to value-based living. We can suggest how this transition is possible from this value education to value-based education to value-based living that can be ensured in every institution.
Okay. One basic thing which I observe is that human beings do things which they feel will ultimately benefit them. So when we try to implement the value education and we tell them, tell the parents that we want to do it, so they say, why? So what some ideas which come to me is that we want to live in a better world. Now, if there is so much of stress in the students that their mental health gets disturbed, and the occurrences are too frequent now of children committing suicide or fighting with each other and getting into crime, not intended crime, but just violence. Like during ragging, it's happening, and even otherwise. So what we can say is that this is value education is an investment you are making so that at a later stage in life, your child has a smooth journey. Similarly, even a small thing like we want a clean country. How will the country become clean? If every child learns that waste segregation is important. So we have to look at the outcomes which we want, which we talk in the SDG also. So what are the outcomes we want? And how we trace back each outcome to the value which we want the children to learn. Or even road rage or road accidents. Now they have become so frequent, and if you may be doing everything all right, but somebody else who did not do it properly, it resulted in disaster for your family. So we can say that investing in value education right from beginning will lead to value-based living, which we all want to ultimately take benefit of. So that's how we can connect the dots, because otherwise people do not understand. And my last point in this is, like yesterday I saw that in a conference that there are some companies, some startups which are giving value education packages. So I say that since people like our Rajiv Arora, Rajneesh Arora, or Rajneesh Arora, or our Bagadia ji, they cannot be everywhere. They are very few in numbers. So we should allow these commercial organizations also to get into this, but we can have a back-end discussion with them so that they do not end up instilling the wrong values. But even if it's done on a commercial basis, I don't mind it in primary schools. If we can do carpet bombing of value education through a kind of a textbook kind of thing, which is available all over. And even if it becomes fashionable, all the better. There's no harm in it. Ultimately, we will get the outcomes we want.
We have a time limit, so we can take some questions also now from the.
So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying there are some commercial organizations doing it. We should rope them in, have back-end discussion with them, and let it be carpet bombing. There's no harm in it. Thank you.
Yeah. So value education has to be initialized as well as it is to be ensured in the true sense. That is, in a sense, what you were telling. Very nice. So we will now move on to the next panelist. Very quick reflections from Dr. Srividya Sukumar regarding how this value education to value-based education to value-based living can be ensured.
Sure.
Dr. Srividya
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
So as I was rightly mentioning in my previous session, on my previous thing, right attitude in the right direction. So the learners should be open to learning. And as we see, as we have been raised, values are not something to be educated. It should be imbibed. It should be in the culture. It should be in the background. It should be in the roots, such that they realize it, they enjoy it, and they try to explore more on the values and they live by it. In this, the learner is the first one, and it's all connected to the 5 hands. The learner is the first one who's going to take the right lead forward for this value-based education. Second, the parents and the home community. Charity begins at home. It's all from the home front. It's all from the parents' involvement. It's all from the siblings. It's all from the community, the home community that we're talking about. Second is that. Third is that the school where they are exposed to the education, whichever education it is. The education is the environment and the community that they're talking about. Third factor is that. Fourth is that the 1, 2, 3, and the other where they are, the whole environment where they are exposed to. As they grow, they're exposed to the other environment. So this also comes into factor. And the last but not the least, if he is the learner who is going to take the lead, who is going to be the follower, all these 5 put together clearly forms the value education, and this will be a successful thing. So in that case, this learning experience is more kind of akin to the potter's wheel, where every touch of the potter's hand and every rotation on the wheel shapes up the wet clay or the misshapen pottery into a pot or a beautiful artistic piece that we are looking for. To foster this, we need to emphasize that this is built on the platform of empathy, caring, respect, love, and understanding, such that they don't feel that something is forced onto them, and they take enjoyment of the learning, and they really explore themselves how to move forward and with the right direction, the right attitude, in the right time. Thank you so much. Just give me 1 second to conclude this. This is achievable by the caring, committed, dedicated educationers like this who worship this profession as a divine service to the humanity, whose mission of education is realized as an asatoma sadgamaya. That means lead us from ignorance to truth. Tamasoma jyotirgamaya, from the darkness to light. Mrityoma amritam gamaya, from all our limitations to liberation. The whole learning process to be a liberated learning, such that this agile mind is open to learn, such that we take it forward with Shanti, 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 where we make the place, our world, a better place to live in. It is not a forced thing. It is not a taught thing. It should be imbibed from self, such that they take the responsibility. Such a well-grounded education greatly emphasizes on child's physical, emotional, moral, psychological, spiritual development, the holistic development that we are talking about. It will cater to it. The very easy way to employ this is that teachers are making lesson plan. Every single topic in the classroom situation should be related to one of the UHV values. Say, for example, if you're talking about plants, how to take care of the plants. This is related to taking care, being caring and sharing. So such that if this kind of implementation is done, and the whole thing can be achieved in no time. Thank you, sir. Sorry, I took a little more longer. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Very nice that you have been emphasizing upon the value-based living part. So it is not just like offering this value education that will not suffice. So we have to go for this value-based living. So for that, as you said, it has to come out, and every stakeholder, like the teachers, they're very important for this. So emphasis upon that. And when the teachers are living models of this value education, and then there is every possibility that the students will also imbibe these values and they go ahead. We have very limited time, just 5 minutes to go for the closure of this particular panel discussion. I know that everyone wants to speak, and there is a lot of sharing which has happened already. But I request if any of the delegates would like to ask a question, we can take a quick question from one of the delegates, and we can ask any of the panelists to respond to that. We can see the hand of Anand Pandey. Dr. Anand Pandey, over to you for the question. Quickly.
Very good afternoon to all. My question to all the panelists is that if we are discussing about the human-based education and human-based living to all the stakeholders, especially the higher education as well as school education. My question is that, is there any need to conduct these awareness programs to the parents in the present scenario? And if it is yes, then how it is possible?
Yeah. So I got the question.
The programs are organized for all the different startups of the society, including the parents. There are family workshops also. And the notifications of this, all the workshops are being shared on the different platforms. So I can request Dr. Anand Pandey to get connected with any one of this channel of informations. And the informations would reach to you. And the parents can also participate in this particular development program. So what is happening today, like if you look into the two continents, they are not going along with each other. The two countries of the same continents are also not going along with each other. Two states of the same country are fighting. The two cities of the same state are in the quarrel. The two colonies of the same city are in the struggle. The two neighbors are not able to go together. And the two people, the husband and wife, who are staying under the same roof, are also having a conflict in between. So this is a self-explanatory to understand that all these issues are happening due to the lack of values and not due to the lack of skills. So important things for the implementation of value, when we talk about primary education, see, the kids who goes to the primary education, they basically imitate. Right, whatever the parents are doing in the family, they just keep imitating. I mean, just imagine a 2 years boy sitting on the sofa with his father's cell phone rings, and the father wants to avoid the caller and simply says that, I'm not there at home. What the child will imitate. So when it comes to the small children, I think the environment of the relationship which we create in the family, then they can pick up the values from there. They can imitate and they can follow those values. So thank you so much, Dr. Sunil.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have a time limitation. Thank you for the question and thank you for the response, Sri Umesh Jadhav. So because of time limitation, we couldn't reach to the other panelists in next round. So I can see the hand of Anand Pandey, Dr. Virendra Goswami is raised, but we have just 2 minutes to go for the closure. So we have discussed today regarding the implementation part of the value education, holistic value-based education. There are certain things we discussed. One is regarding the management. So how to implement this through helping the management, the teachers. So the training programs for the management teachers is very important. That is one outcome of this discussion, that we have to offer not just FDPs, but continuing meetings with the teachers, so that the teachers can be role models and the teachers can offer this value education to the students. So the inculcation will be easy in that way. that is one major thing which we discussed. And we also discussed regarding if there are some hurdles in the value education to offering this. So a few things were mentioned, and but of course, when we offer this value education through this primary education, secondary education, when we start from there, this could be overcome. But at the same time, training teachers is very important. Training teachers in the primary, secondary education, where now the teachers may be the so-called future teachers may be right now in the higher education. So we can train them through offering this, first of all, in the higher education. And then we discussed regarding how this transition from value education, value-based education to value-based living is to be ensured. So the share from many of the panelists is that this can be ensured only if you are a living model of value education. So when you offer this value education, automatically when it is offered through other subjects, other courses in the curriculum, then this will be there. And also the faculty, the management, and the students can live together in the campus. And this also will be a living model of value-based education. So with this note, I thank all the panelists for their contribution in this panel discussion. Very rich discussion, I would say. Very nice points are being taken from all the panelists. And we will make a summary of this. And today in the evening session, we'll be in the closing session, we'll be delivering some of the deliverables of this panel discussion also. I thank all the panelists without naming anyone because of lack of time. I thank all of you for your valuable contribution to this panel discussion. I request if all of you can come in the video, and if somebody can take a group photo of all the panelists and all the others who are joined over here, it will be very nice. So I hope somebody from the tech team members are going to take a photograph. If somebody has taken, you can please move this into the grid view, and you can take a photograph. Yeah. Okay. Umeshji. If you're done, you can say done.
Done.
Yeah. Done. Very nice. Very nice. So thank you so much. So we close this discussion here. Now I hand over the mic to Dr. Amipara Manilal, who was the anchor. So over to you for the closure. You can.
Yes, thank you so much. So on the behalf of the team, I extend sincere thanks to all the esteemed panelists and attendees for sharing their valuable input with us. Before leaving, there is an update regarding sessions to come that are there to come today. So after the short break, there will be impact sharing by individuals and institutions who have witnessed transformation in their life in one way or the other. So do join those live sharing. The closing session, as Sunil has told, it will be from 2:30 to 4 p.m. And we have also shifted to, it will start today at 7 p.m. Do join that. The keynote, sharings and panel discussions all would be there, and there'll be fresh panelists. So do join all those discussions. Thank you so much for joining. Namaste to all.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
Very well organized.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.